actually have some Gladiator Beast action for you today. It also looks like we have Metal Zoa and friends, and we have some more Primite action. Make sure you guys smash the like crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So we have some Gladiator Beast action for you here. Now, the thing I'm going to tell you about this is I have not heard any Gladiator Beast reports except for this one. This is the first one that I have seen, and this was actually very, very cool to see. So one of the cool tech choices I'm seeing here is, yes, we are playing the Book of Eclipse in here. You need to be able to kind of basically take care of your opponent's field, which means, you need to be able to go second. You need to be able to do this because we don't have MX Saber Invoker. We don't have the, what I'm going to call the brain dead plays that allow this deck to do its thing. But you need to have something like this in order to push very hard. And also going as far as to even have the Roar in here is also really good. I'm also kind of surprised to see, like, obviously, the Primite stuff's not going to be a major help in here, but Roar is going to help out a lot to get the normal monster on the field so you can start pressuring your opponent so you can do your thing. We are playing 2 copies of Claudus, which is going to be just fine. Also, we are getting away with playing 1 War Chariot. This does warm my heart to actually see the War Chariot playing here. You're also going to notice we don't play Bestiary anymore. R.I.P. to Besticles. I really do miss him. He was a cool card, but his time has come by. 2 come back with the triple field spell, and then, of course, 1 copy of Rejection, which is going to be fine. But everything that you've got going on in here, I think, is fine. Your entire extra deck looks good. Obviously, a lot of this deck is still going to be, Gladiator Beast, Tamer, Editor, Abuse, which it's kind of what it's always been. I can't really say there's a lot of originality in the form of Gladiator Beast because there kind of is some cool things with this, but you've got to know that you have to handle, making this card be the thing that actually makes everything work out. And of course, we got more board breakers in here, so pick your poison. How are we going to go about taking care of the opponent's field to best help us handle our situation? I love this deck. All right, so we have some Metamorph barrel fun for you here. Now, I was hoping that somebody would come up with a cool way to do this. I was pretty set in my ways of going with the Fiendsmith cards, and you guys saw the original build floating around on my channel that we were trying to mess around with. But I do like this. I like the fact that we are taking the Primite stuff and, we're using it with the Metamorph stuff. 1 flame coating with the 2 copies of Max Metamorph. And yes, we are doing 2 copies of the RedEyes Black Full Metal Dragon. The big thing you've got to understand when you're looking at this deck is, one of these can get outed pretty easily. So you want to have the second one on the back burner out here, just so you can do your thing. Now, I mean, obviously, yes, the effect is once per turn. All right, I'm not going to deny that. But being able to roll into another turn with a 3800 setup, kind of on the recovery end, is really good. You also are all going to notice that we are doing some Kashtira plays in here with the triple Fenrir, with the Rise Heart. Yes, the Rise Heart is going to act as that little free extender, because, I mean, you do have a ring 7 toolbox down here. All right, let's not deny that. All right, Big Eye for utility, RedEyes Full Metal for burn, and then, of course, I see we're playing Volfrenis here just to kind of give us some extra little options, kind of pressure your opponent. All of this is fine. You just want to make sure that as you are playing this deck, you want those control options to be doing what they need to be doing, and, you're doing your job. Also, I do like the fact that because we are technically playing RedEyes in here, we are playing the most singular RedEyes fusion card I have ever seen in my life out here, which is hilarious. Also, this deck gets off on having, this be the starter. Being able to convert this into a Striker Dragon, into, Dark Metal, you get some pretty disgusting plays very quickly. So, I do like this. The card's very, very good. So that's awesome. Next up, we have some Primite stuff for you here. Now, I do want to say here that they did choose to play the Summon Skull. Now, this is supposed to be a white Dauston, I'm pretty sure. Especially considering the fact that, you want to be able to do Tremors and bring out the white Dauston here. So, yes, for all intents and purposes, this is supposed to be your white Fiend monster, so that you can kind of convert on into this so you can do your thing. Very, very easy fix for the deck. I just found that really funny that they sent this over and it had this in it, but we also had the Blue Eyes White Dragon in here as well. Having the White Daostan be the jump point for this, you know, Tremors e-telling out into this to do the line is really good. But also, you know, with the Lordly Load, you are getting to a lot of places. Also, call it what it is out here. All right, being able to have such an insanely quick access to the Fiendsmith stuff is going to help you out a lot. But also, you know, for the locals experience, you know, you can toss in whatever combination normal monsters you're going to want. And that's kind of what makes it really cool when you're playing decks like this, especially with the normal stuff. You can play all of your cool favorite versions of these things and just surprise your opponent. They're going to be like, well, what's going on here, man? Like, suddenly things are looking a lot more questionable to your opponent. Like, I can't believe this. I do see some really funny interactions that I see that we are trying in here that I don't really think worked out the way that they wanted them to. But sure, I will say, interesting. Imagine just getting to tribute out the Blue Eyes and roll out the Negate. Oh boy. All right. Ooh, we have some love for you out here for Mermails. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to tell you is Mermails, they didn't exactly have a good time right now. I think that obviously this deck is the win the dice roll experience and hope for the best. Sorry guys, I'm trying to be optimistic out here. Unfortunately, that is kind of how this deck plays right now. You have to hope to win the dice roll. If not, you know, it's kind of over. I mean, you do have cards like this and this to try to get the game back to you, but it's not really easy. Also, so many builds are cutting back on Minstrel right now. I understand that, you know, obviously if your opponent has a Charmy against you, you're just in a dog shit position. And I guess, like, having the Minstrel just kind of like, oh no, you know, at least you can check for this and you can check for this. So I don't know why we're so against Minstrel at this point for larger numbers, but I kind of feel like this card's important. We're going with the triple Abyss Hand in here. Once again, the TCG is not testing out the Gen X variant of this deck. We're just not having it. I do see that we are playing the Ice Jade Rana Grind in here, which is fine. 2 copies of Poseidra is looking good. We still are doing the Super Ancient Deep Sea Lines. I don't have a problem with this stuff, but the big things that you got to understand is this card's going to look like a brick about 45% of the time. Let's call it what it is. But if you can get it deployed out of the deck and you can set up, I think you're going to have a good time with this. In terms of everything else going on with this list, oh man, if I can successfully roll out a Trishula against my opponent every single game and actually have this thing stick, I think I'd be a happy little boy. Maybe I need to go play some water. Maybe this is just the deck I need to go play. I do want to test the Gen X version out for our side, but yeah, this is pretty straightforward for the Mermail experience. Also, hello Abyss Sphere, that's kind of cool. Ooh, we have some Mitsurugi Rizal action for you. There are going to be a lot of people out here that are going to be looking at this deck going forward. All right, this deck is very anticipated. It is going to be, we'll see through the regional block here if it's going to kind of live up to its theme, but I mean, okay, so I see we're doing 2 Sajis in here, which a little bit different than some of the other builds I've been seeing, still sticking to the 2 Ames, 1 Futsu, which is fine, still going with the triple, but only 2 of the Ritual Spell. That's interesting. I mean, this build's already packing in 42. I also see that they did choose to play some Ghost Spells in here, which is not a bad call. I honestly kind of think that having access to those is pretty important, actually. We are doing 2 copies of Meows down here in the side, just so you know you can put that pressure on your opponent. It's just a standard Charmy scenario. We've also got all the thrust action in the world. I, too, love pulling out my most powerful Sanctum against my opponent. Also, no Dimensional Barrier in here. That's very interesting to me. I figured the Dimensional Barrier would see a little bit of love in a deck like this in the side, because, you know, you're already pulling for these, but I guess to be fair, you're just going to thrust into the Ultimate Slayer and wipe your opponent's board anyway. Also, if you do get to play against a Synchro deck, you can actually wipe out their Synchro with the Herald and then trigger the Herald to go search. So, like, a best case scenario, actually playing against a Synchro deck is the best call that you want to see for this deck. Also, you know, you have the Slayer to drop the Tri-Brigade, which is pretty good. So that's everything I have for today. Please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.